Moja kwa moja to Studio B, virtual. There we are. This is the trumpet of hope. Karibuni sana. I want to take this opportunity to welcome all of you. I'm so honored to have all of you. And this is just so great. And I don't know where we start. I only know Peter Ndiangui.
All right, does that mean let's start?
Yes. Welcome.
All right, Captain. This is the moment we have been waiting for, and we are so honored that you asked us. You asked me, and then I got this panel to be with the audience tonight. We've been listening to you, and we thank you so much for the work you do for all of us, both in the diaspora and in Kenya and everywhere else in the world. We are so honored. Thank you, brother. But if I may begin, we have issues, as you mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Traditionally, international students have always had issues of different kinds, but this has become a little bit more traumatic.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this great panel has come to do here. We try and tell them, calm down, everything will be okay. Things will change for the better. This too shall pass. And you'll listen a lot more tonight. Thank you so much. My name is Peter Ndiangui. I am from the Huayne village in Nyeri, Kenya. But right now, I teach at Florida Gulf Coast University in the College of Education. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Professor, hey. Now, I have to say, Yemune.
Jamge mamingala. That's a good one.
You know, I started broadcasting in Eldoret in a radio station called Sayara Radio Station. And Reverend Dr. Eli Rop, I was a pioneer in that station in 1999. So, you know, I know a lot about that region. So welcome and say hello to us and introduce yourself.
Kongoi Missing.
Kongoi Missing.
Yeah, I am Jerono-Rotich. I live in Green, Carolina. I work in Durham, North Carolina at the North Carolina Central State University. I am a professor and department chair. Home, I'm from Elgeyo Marakwet. I go through Eldoret. And I'm also the president of KESA, Kenya Scholars and Studies Association, as well as the founder and CEO of KESID, that is Kenya Students in Diaspora. And I am blessed to be here tonight. Thank you for the invite for inviting me.
Thank you so much. This is interesting. We have Dr. Patrick Mose, and Charles Geshoke says, say hello to Dr. Mose. He feels very, you know, he's there, and he's very happy to be associated with you. He told me, wow, Dr. Mose is my friend. All right. Dr. Mose Patrick, say hello to us.
Hello everyone. I'm also excited to be here. My name is Patrick Mose. I'm from Kenya, of course, from Nakuru. Right now I work in the at Ohio University. I am an instructional designer. That means I work a lot with technology. I help faculty design online programs and other programs that I'm involved in. So I'm happy to be here and to interact with all of you. Looking forward to this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Dr. Wanyama. Dr. Wanyama, welcome.
Thank you. My name is Engineer Wanyama. I'm not actually a professor in education, but I interact a lot with most people in the academia. I'm from basically Kenya, brought up mainly in Nairobi, but my parents are from Western Province. So I work for the Caterpillar company, and I do systems design engineering, just making most of these tractors and equipment that you see at the roadside. I'm quite excited to work with the young people, and especially the students. So this is a course that was charted out with Professor Jerono leading this endeavor. I think it's a good endeavor we are participating in. It's an opportunity to assist the students in as much as we can. So we're excited to be here tonight.
Thank you very much. Nice. I want to take this opportunity once again to welcome all of the viewers, wherever they are. I want to make sure that we all enjoy ourselves and we learn something. It is important. And if at all you have a question, if at all you have any question, it is important to ask. It is important to ask this panel because they are here for you. They are here not just for me. No, these people are here because of you as an international student or as a Kenyan. I want to make sure that everything is good. So I'm getting to my studio camera, and I know that we'll have a moment, a beautiful moment. So I'm by the side. Now, Professor Jerono, this is your initiative. Tell us what is happening and give us a brief picture of what we are just about to do tonight.
So thank you so much for giving me that opportunity. I came to this country as an international student, so I pretty much understand the issues and the challenges that international students go through. But this has been an extremely daunting time because of COVID. So what happened to the students is when COVID started, universities closed early, actually they around the 15th of March. And as we're all aware, our international students can only work on campus. So campuses were closed. So I remember one student saying he only worked for one day and then the campus was shut down. Now those who were on scholarships were able to stay on campus until the end of the semester, but they did not have any income unless you have the income from the parents. But throughout that semester, those who are relying on campus employment, that did not happen because everything was shut down, so they had to move out. Now come summer again, everything has been shut down. So those who are relying on campus employment, like I did when I was a student, I worked on campus. I remember I enjoyed cleaning the dormitories. I enjoyed cutting the grass because that was my income. So that was a good time to catch up with bills and everything, but this is not happening for our students. So they have no income other than what, and again, people at home are struggling. Not everybody can afford to send the dollars to this country. So our students found themselves in a very difficult position where they could not even travel home if they wanted to do that. They could not even do any paid internship if they wanted to do that. They could not get any jobs on campus if they wanted to do that. And if you are aware, even athletes who are on scholarship, they have no health insurance in the summer. They're on their own in the summer. So our students are really having a difficult time. And, working with them, and I work very closely with them because we have a WhatsApp group it's full. We have 26 members, but of course, some of them are mentors. So I want to say we have about 200 students there. And then we have another overflow, another group in Telegram. And we have a group on Facebook, and we have a group on Twitter. So we have all this, but there's such a big need, and I'm just appealing to our community members to just spare whatever you can spare so that we can help these students to meet the basic needs as they wait to transition in the semester. Everything was fine until the other day. Now, all these policies where they're saying that international students cannot take online classes. I am personally aware of that because as a department chair, when the semester closed, everything was face-to-face. And then come June, we were all instructed to come back and redo the schedule. So as I speak, all my courses in my department, 50% are hybrid and 50% are online. So what is interesting is students would find themselves, before you left the semester, maybe you're on a face-to-face class, but now you find yourself classes have transitioned to online or face-to-face. So that's a big issue that they have to navigate. But the bottom line is I really want to thank this team who have really stepped up. I want to thank Dr. Dingui, Dr. Mose, who's also, he did not say he's also the vice president of Cashapp. And he does such a great job. I call him my boss. He keeps me straight. He keeps me in line. So Mose and then Dr. Wanyama has been extremely supportive. I want to thank all those who have taken time to contribute. Again, remember, we are brothers and sisters here. If it was a normal semester, they would have been able to vent on their own. But this is a situation where they cannot. There's no way out. They can't walk, they can't do anything. So I'm appealing to anybody who's out there to take care of a brother and sister who's out there in need.
Thank you very much. I don't know whether Dr. Mose has something to add in that introduction now that you're the vice president of the organization.
Thank you very much. I normally forget to say about being the vice president. Forgive me about that. Yeah, now that my boss, so we call each other bosses, and I really appreciate that. As my president has said, being a student in this country is very, very difficult, and you require a lot of support from the community around. I remember I came here as a student. I came to the US as a student, and without that support, I remember starting from the airport, the first night I was hosted by a fellow Kenyan, and from there, then getting the orientation, getting what, like, it's just like somebody giving you a track or guidance on how to in this country. It's very, very difficult being a new student. So having said that, the COVID-19 complications has also complicated everything that used to be normal. Everything right now is not normal, as we can say, because employment, classes, ways of life, like all these things that we call a source of livelihood have been interrupted, and it's very, very difficult for students who are here to really catch up and put up with life. So with that, I've been involved in various what do you call it? In various ways. First of all, I'm a designer, so I can call myself an emergency responder. When COVID started, all classes went online. So you can imagine that that amount of work within a very short time, with doing things in new ways of doing, like exploring new ways of doing things in an uncharted territories. So all these we are together, and we'll be there. I don't know what else to say.
Thank you so much. Some people may not understand the impact of COVID-19 to international students, and especially today in the America that we are in. So, Dr. Ndiangui, you are down there in Florida. Can you give us a brief picture of the impact of COVID-19 to international students, not just the Kenyans who are listening to us, but international students in the US?
Yes, please. I would be honored to do that. First of all, when you listen to the international students all over, not just the Kenyans, the stories are diverse but very scary. I want to start by saying I'm the president of an organization called the African Network of Southwest Florida. And one of the primary duties is to take care of our students from all over the continent, whether they come from Morocco, Tunisia, South Africa, wherever they come from, black, white, Arabs, whatever, we don't care. And we take care of them, and actually all of them, they know I am the father of the African students. And I feel very honored about that. And one of the responsibilities that we have is even try to show them where to go, even for shopping or anything. COVID-19 comes now in March, when some of them were just settling down, some of them had come in January, but others even would come earlier on. And then they are told, okay, now go, there's isolation. First of all, those students who depended on being together, isolation was very difficult, social distancing. Then next, and we are all in uncharted grounds, as Dr. Mose has mentioned. We didn't know, even the professors now, we are trying to reallage Zoom. Many professors did not even know how to use Zoom very well, so we were all starting. Now we are all professionals. But then the students come to me and they say, look, They are making us do all these classes. Even some of my students, I cannot get internet. The little money I have, which I was getting only when I was working in college, that is in March. They had no money to spare. They couldn't get internet. So you have to find another way. Remember, the social distancing itself, and yet they don't have internet. So that was a big problem. Then slowly, they were being chased out of college because the college was closing down. They don't want the students to fall sick when they're there. Others who are staying in apartments were also having problems. They could not afford to pay. Then it went on. We have no jobs because remember, they only work 20 hours in college and the colleges have closed, so there's no job. So they cannot even meet the very basic needs. Mm-hmm. They could not even get food. We started now getting food to them. And remember, movement was difficult. Now they cannot also go home. They could not fly home. That was another problem. And here you are with a large group of students who you don't know. Luckily, I want to say a big shout to my university. We go to our university, we say, Provost, Mr. President, we have these kids who are suffering here. They'll die from hunger. And so they started supporting them. And then we realized the story is not unique. When I talked to all these people, Moses, Jerono-Rotich, and many others, we said we need to do something together. Yes, Jerono started this in 2019. That was very good, Jerono. I want to give you a shout for that. But now the real issue is this time. It's so traumatic. It's affecting us. And I want to say this myself. As a professor, when I got my 3 classes online, I said, wow, that's great. And I have a lot of international students. Then yesterday, this announcement, then I started feeling guilty. What do I do with them? I want my class to be online. I feel good. But what about the students? It's like we are putting a burden on people who are already suffering. And these students, particularly the ones from our regions, don't have a lot of money. I know there are a number of kids from rich countries, from rich families, but it's not just Africa. The same stories from kids in Korea, the same kids from India. I have a number of kids from South America, Honduras, all over Guatemala. They are going through the same. We even try to help them, but you cannot help them all. And this is where we all need to come together and realize these are our children, and they're going to suffer a lot more if we don't get together as a community. And if we keep on putting pressure on them, it gets even worse. We don't want suicide cases. We don't want them to die of hunger. Please, we need to get together.
Thank you so much. I know we have the issues of online learning that just came up, and I will handle that. But maybe Dr. Engineer Wanyama. One, I'm so happy now. I don't know whether one of these fine days will maybe discuss a little bit more. But tell us, what are you people doing right now? What programs are there? I know Professor Jerono will mention deeper, but maybe you can guide us through so that the international students who are listening to us, and even those who intend to come to the U.S., can see some of the programs that are there for them, and they can be able to enjoy.
Well, my experience is a little different in that I don't work directly with students. Mm-hmm. However, having been an international student, one thing is very clear, that you must have some kind of support in order to survive in not only in this country, but anywhere else that a student goes. So what we've done before is when I was in school, I used to help students with just getting them from the airport, making sure that they settle down, and then they go from there. There's a lot of that going on. However, there's something that is very disturbing when I listened to recently to some students when we got this COVID going on. There's a student who mentioned that some people are trying to stay away. They fear approaching people because some Kenyans would rather be left alone. That was very disheartening. Students need help. And if there is a time that they really need help, it is now. We cannot afford to sit back and just watch. So when I listened to the call from Jerono and the Kesid, mm-hmm. I thought this was an opportunity for me to participate because I don't necessarily interact with them on a daily basis. I interact with them occasionally, weekends, things like that. And it's just like 1, 2, 3 students. but then they interact with the students on a daily basis and they understand their problems more. But the fact is that there's a problem has come. These are very uncertain times. They are not only uncertain to students, they are uncertain even to us. But at least we are in a better position to assist them. And we cannot afford to sit back and watch. So we are urging everybody out there to help in this endeavor.
Beautiful. Let me get to you once more. You mentioned something, and I want now to pin you down as a community. Let me get now the people who interact with the students directly, and now we have the community. Is the community doing enough to help international students? The community is divided into maybe the churches, the pastors, the Kenyans who came here earlier or before us, and also maybe the community organizations in our society. Are we doing enough? Let me leave that question openly, whoever can handle that.
Let me say something. Yeah, go ahead. Dr. Wanyama, let me correct you. Dr. Wanyama, you do a lot for the students. Dr. Wanyama is one of our mentors in Kesid. So any of the students that we get in engineering, mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, civil engineering, he's the one who has been assisting us with all our students who want to pursue that career of engineering. So Dr. Wanyama, thank you for what you're doing. You do more than you think. And what I want to say is, and I'm trying not to cry, because I wish we could do more. I had 3 students the other day. They are young students, young Kenyan American students, and when they appeal, this young man, one of them is a PhD student. One of them works with a community college. And one of them, these are young men, very young. One of them is a principal. These young people got together and they sent me $300 instantly. So I'm seeing more response from the young people, but I just don't see what people don't understand. When somebody's out there has no food, somebody's out there has no place to stay. Okay, take over first. Let me get over this. I'm really praying that I wish we could do more.
Yes.
Because the response from the community has not been great. I don't get it. I don't see what you don't see. These are young people. They have not refused to go to work. They have not refused to look for opportunities, just that there's nothing they can do. So I'm just praying at this point. I'm just praying. I'm like, I don't know what you don't see. I get a student saying, actually the other day I talked with one student. He didn't have a place to go. We were able to figure out a place that he stayed. And a local church stepped in and gave him food. But I'm having trouble connecting with him because his phone has been disconnected. I had a student who has been accepted into a PhD program. His lease is up because he was supposed to be doing something in the summer. His lease is up, his rent is due, and he needs to relocate from another state to the other state so he can start his program. I had a student the other day, she was in another state, was staying with friends, but that was not a very comfortable place. So she needed to move to another state where there was a friend. So we were able to put money together and get our ticket. So as we speak, I mean, there's students, I mean, I'm actually getting calls every single day. I wish I could bring all of them to my house. And I've told them, if you need to come to my house, please come over. But I'm just appealing to the community. I was like, I don't understand. I don't see what you don't see, because these are children who cannot go back home. They can't work. They're not asking for help forever, just for this season, because we're caught in a difficult situation where they just need us. So I'm just, I'll let somebody take over so I can stop.
Yeah.
All right.
You want me to just add on to that a little bit.
Yes.
Okay.
Truly speaking, listening to the students we talked to recently, as recent as 2 weeks ago, the situation is quite dire. They're in dire need. And some of them, it's not just the money, it's just somebody to talk to.
True.
They're stuck. They live in the apartment. Some of them, they don't even know, they have problems with sometimes they are just means of transport, going to get stuff. It's very, very difficult for them. In terms of the community, yeah, there's some help from the churches and other organizations. Yeah, but you cannot also ignore the fact that people are being questioned. Like we are being questioned. What are you up to? What are you trying to do? It's like we are trying to look for some, some names or for some political thing that we are looking for out there. These are unusual times. Very difficult. I recently talked to somebody at home. They're trying to come this way, and we cannot tell them to come. We tell them, hold on, let's listen to what is going on before you'll not even be able to make a move because you can't go to Nairobi. Is this somebody in Western Province? We cannot even get to Nairobi. Kids are just looking for somebody to talk to. And those who are in dire need financially, just something little. And this is what we are trying to do. But there are a lot of questions out there. But it's a good endeavor.
Yes.
Captain.
Yes.
Let me say this. Professor Jerono, I feel your pain. I've never seen you cry.
I know.
Cry. But I know the pain because the stories of these students, they're so scary. When did we become so heartless to say it's not your problem?
Mm-hmm.
And when we start a project like you started, Dr. Jerono, what Dr. Wanyama said is very touching. Some people start questioning, oh, these people are trying. Jerono wants to be the minister for this, wants to be appointed this, wants to be... You stop seeing what we are doing, you start leading nonsense. Let me say foolishness into that.
Mm-hmm.
This is about children and to the community. Captain, I want to talk to the community now.
Yes.
I'm quite sure in every corner of the world where the international students, because not just in the United States, there is a community allowed them. Please reach out to those children. We have always said, and it sounds like a cliche to say it takes a village. We are the village. And there's a child next to you who needs your help. I do want to be an optimist here to answer your question. I think many communities are doing a lot. We may not know. They may not come to radio like we are doing now. And we want them to continue. But because of the stories we get, we do know that we are not doing enough collectively, that we can do a lot more.
Very good.
We want to commend all those communities, whether in California or in Georgia or in New York or wherever, they are doing a lot. I want to commend my community right here in Southwest Florida. Because as soon as the kids come, they become our children, we direct them to what apartments they can get, even where they can get some soap or a book or something. Please help those students when they learn. And I wanted to say this. Dr. Wanyama, I know I kind of embarrass you, but I want to say a story. My wife came to this country over 20 years ago, and they had done the little harabe they could, and the little money remaining was now you get to school, you get to America. She gets registration, admission, she's admitted, and then what next? They sit there with some other girls, they don't even know where to go. They thought they would get accommodation like that. Dr. Wanyama was just passing by. And so these girls, and see, these are Kenyans, and took them and showed them where they can stay. And then from there on, the rest is history. I want to say on radio, Dr. Wanyama, thank you so much. And I'm using that example because that's something that each one of us should do. It doesn't take money to show the kids where to go to, where public is, where you can even take the bus, where you can do anything. we can do a lot more. It's not just about money. We can save those kids. We can make them feel. Yesterday's announcement, and I know you addressed that a little bit more, was too traumatic. It's adding insult to injury. And as Dr. Moses said, this is all uncharted times. I'm trying to take care of myself. I live here more than anywhere else because I'm worried about going outside there. But then I know those kids need me. So I have to do something. I talk to them. I call them. How are you doing? Fine. What do you need? I'm okay now. You know, like that. They need to hear there's somebody they can call. I need them to call me every time. I need them to send me an email. I'm okay. That's what I want to hear sometimes.
Thank you.
And that's what I'm praying the community everywhere, because this is the question you asked. Wherever you are, in New Jersey, in Texas, in Dallas, in California, anywhere in the whole world, please think about of your children. It doesn't matter. And don't think about tribes or rubbish like that. They are our children.
Thank you. Now, you mentioned something. I know I'm supposed to give, I'm just about to give you Dr. Patrick. And as you come, let people know that these people who are in the panel tonight, they came here. Some of them as international students, I guess. And they are now a force to reckon with. We need to know, in your local place, there's a university. I'm just next to Sam Houston University. I know at least one of the international students there. The challenge that we have is, in those universities, there are Kenyans who are there. They came as international students. Some of them don't have a vehicle to go out, even to a local church. Some of them don't have anywhere to sleep or anything to eat. They're just there. Is it we are not asking for so much. 1, speak with them. 2, know whether they need anything, even a telephone call, or even a connection, or even a calling card to call their parents back home, because it can reach at that time. We don't want to see them in the streets as homeless. We don't want to see them there. We don't want to get them into depression. And then we are so busy organizing a WhatsApp group that fill up to 256 people, and we open WhatsApp group 2 and WhatsApp group 3 when somebody is dead. Yet we would have saved that soul when he or she was still vibrant. There's something that I call America 101. Do we have programs for the international students, either from the universities part of it, or even from the Kenyan community organizations, America 101, or even from our embassy, so that we can know when a Kenyan student comes as an international student, apart from getting to the university, what else do they need to know so that they can deal with culture shock, so that they can deal with the cultural, diversity issues, language, and all these other challenges that they face? Because they come with the school fees, and that is not enough. And the parents out there think that they have gone to America, so they start asking for money immediately to pay for the loans some of them had borrowed. And they start asking, they think that there is money everywhere. There's so much to deal with. Dr. Mose.
Yeah, thank you very much, Andrew. I just want to echo what other panelists have said, because they've really raised very, very important issues that I cannot say them more better. But one thing that I will call the community to do is to embrace this culture change in terms of starting by small baby steps. There is, I remember Professor Wangari Maathai is saying, if you want to save bumblebees, you need to plant the flowers in your yard, right? So our flowers, the flowers that we need to plant in our yard, is to start embracing, building up strong, small structures that can bring people together. I know when people come here, they have very, very different expectations. They are shocked culturally. America, I'm sorry to say this, but America is a very individual capitalistic or individualistic society. Everyone thinks about themselves first. They don't even think about other people. So this is these are some of the things that we'll need to change. We start by planting that flower in your yard. Change this first. Start from your location, the small location. Here in Athens, we have a small Kenyan community. I'm from Ohio here, right? The small community here, we are trying to help whichever way we can in very, very small ways. Just as Professor Jerono said, when these students come here, they don't need money, but they need just that guidance and help. Somebody to talk to, and probably, for instance, housing them, giving them food or something like that. That's just a small input you can have to help them.
All right.
But
good.
the major point is having a community, building a community, having a community that is very, very supportive of everyone.